My fiancée told me her friends mattered more than I ever would, so I walked away. And she never saw the price she'd end up paying for that choice. I'm Adrian, 31 years old, and I work as a contractor for a small construction company. Nothing fancy, but it pays well, and I like building stuff. I grew up in a boring little town, moved to the city 6 years ago for better work, and never left. I've always been the steady type. Same truck for 10 years, same gym 3 mornings a week, same handful of close friends since high school. I'm not the loudest guy in the room, but I'm solid. At least that's what people say. Vanessa and I met at a friend's birthday thing 2 years back. She was all confidence and big smiles. She worked in event planning, so she always had 5 things going at once. Friends, dinners, trips, book clubs, whatever. I liked that about her at first. It felt like dating someone who had a full life. Fast forward to 3 months ago. I'd been saving for over a year and finally bought a ring. Custom, simple design, nothing too flashy, but it wasn't cheap. I planned the proposal at this Italian place she loved. White tablecloths, little candles on the tables, the whole thing. It was where we had our first date, so I figured it would mean something. Dinner went smooth, she said yes, people clapped, the waiter brought free dessert, all that movie stuff. I remember driving back to her apartment thinking, all right, this is it. My future's set. It felt good. We got back. She changed into an old t-shirt and we were lying there talking about wedding ideas. Totally normal. Then, in the middle of that, she goes, just so you know, my friends will always come first, not you. Just like that. I thought she was joking, kind of laughed and asked what she meant. Vanessa rolled on her side, all casual, and said, Brooke, Leia, Scarlett, they've been with me longer than you. That's never going to change. You're important, obviously, but they're my girls. They come first. I just stared at the ceiling for a second. Not angry, not yelling, just processing. I asked, so even now we're engaged, planning a life, and I'm behind your friends in line? She shrugged like it was obvious. Well, yeah, they've been with me through everything. If you can't handle that, maybe this isn't going to work. That last part stuck. Maybe this isn't going to work. I didn't start a fight. Didn't beg or try to argue her into changing her mind. I just lay there thinking about the last 2 years, the weekend trip she bailed on because Brooke had drama with her boyfriend, the anniversary dinner postponed because Leia wanted to go, bar hopping, the number of nights she spent on her phone laughing in group chats while I just sat there next to her. I told myself back then it was fine, she was social, had her friends, no big deal, but hearing her say it out loud like a rule carved in stone hit different. I looked over at her and said, partnership means both people make each other the priority. That's what marriage is. I'm not signing up to be a side project. She rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. They're my friends. This is how it's always been. That was the moment I knew I was done. Something just clicked off in my head. She fell asleep a little later. She'd slipped the ring off and left it on the nightstand, the box still on her dresser. I got up, grabbed the ring box from the dresser, took the ring from the nightstand, and wrote on a scrap of paper, I don't do second place. I left the empty box on the pillow where she'd see it, took my jacket, wallet, keys, and walked out. I never gave up my old apartment when we started staying together more. She always said it was a waste of money, but I liked having my own space. That night, for the first time, I was glad I kept it. I drove back across town. No calls. City quiet. By the time the sun came up, I knew I was done with Vanessa for good. I woke up early the next morning, made coffee in my own kitchen, and stared at my phone before typing out the message. Nothing dramatic, no big speech, just, Vanessa, I'm not continuing the engagement. I don't hate you. I'm not angry. I just know what I want and this isn't it. I wish you well. Please respect my space. I read it once, hit send, and tossed the phone on the counter. That was it. The first call came 5 minutes later, then another, then texts, 3, 4, 5. I ignored them all and pulled on my boots instead. I started small, fixed the cabinet door in the kitchen that had been hanging crooked for months, swapped the dead plant by the window with a cheap fern from the corner store, took the old sheets off my bed, ordered new ones online, then bought a second set so I'd always have a backup. It sounds minor, but getting my place in order made my head feel clearer. The calls didn't stop. By lunchtime I had 20 missed calls and texts stacked up. I answered one, kept it short. Vanessa, I got your messages. I'm not changing my mind. Please stop calling. I hope things work out for you. She started crying, saying I was throwing everything away over a sentence taken the wrong way. I told her I heard her, but the decision was final, then hung up. No yelling, no insults. That whole week I stayed busy, up earlier, gym at 6 instead of 7, started meal prepping for the first time in months. Chicken, rice, chopped vegetables, containers stacked neat in the fridge. I didn't want to waste money on takeout anymore. At work I stayed late 2 nights finishing projects we'd been behind on. The guys teased me for being suddenly productive, but it felt good knocking things off the list. I texted my buddy Eric, who I hadn't seen in months, to grab lunch one afternoon. He didn't ask many questions, just said he was glad to see me around again. We talked sports, his kids, normal stuff. No breakup talk. By Friday, my place looked better than it had in a year. New sheets on the bed, shoes lined up by the door, even the wobbly coffee table fixed after I finally tightened the bolts. Vanessa kept sending long texts, pages sometimes. I didn't answer again. I posted a couple of normal updates on my profile. A picture of a trail run Saturday morning with sun coming through the trees. A quick shot of the bookshelf I built in the living room out of leftover plywood from work. Just regular life. No vague quotes, no jabs. Sunday afternoon, I got a DM from Brooke. "Hey, can we talk? I feel like this is a misunderstanding." I told her there wasn't anything to talk about, that I appreciated her reaching out, but this was between Vanessa and me, and I wasn't reconsidering. She sent a long message about friendships and loyalty. I didn't reply. Later that night, Leia sent a different kind of message, just that she was sorry things ended badly and hoped I was all right, no pressure, no guilt. I told her thanks and left it at that. Scarlett didn't message at all. By late week, the calls slowed down, the texts got shorter. It was like Vanessa finally realized I wasn't going to show up at her door with flowers begging to fix things. Thursday afternoon, my boss Carl stopped by my workbench, a short guy who's been running the place forever, and asked if I'd thought about applying for the site supervisor role opening next month. He said I had the right temperament for it. I told him I'd think about it, but inside I already knew I was going for it. That night, instead of scrolling my phone or rereading old texts, I pulled out a notepad and started writing down what I'd need for the promotion. Certifications to renew, people to talk to, projects to list. Real stuff I could actually control. By the time I shut off the lights, my phone was quiet for the first time all week. Earlier that week, Vanessa texted asking if we could meet with the group. Said she wanted to clear the air and get everything out in the open. I read it twice before replying. I didn't see much point, but I also didn't want weeks of sideways comments through mutual friends. So I told her fine. One conversation, public place, everyone keeps it civil. We set it for Friday evening at a little diner near downtown, bright lights, basic menu, the kind of place with laminated pages that smell like coffee and fried food. I got there 10 minutes early, grabbed a booth in the back, ordered a coffee, and watched people come and go while I waited. They came in together, Vanessa first, then Brooke, Leia, and Scarlett. Vanessa slid into the seat across from me. Brooke and Leia flanked her like backup. Scarlett sat at the far end, quiet as usual, not quite meeting my eyes. The waitress brought waters and asked about food. No one opened the menus. Vanessa started, "Look, Adrian, I think things got blown out of proportion. What I said that night, I was just being honest. My friends are like family. I thought you understood that." I nodded once. "I heard you and you were clear, but I'm not signing up to be second place in my own relationship. I want a partner, not a competition." Brooke jumped in before Vanessa could answer. "You bailed on her though, just walked out. Who does that after proposing?" She was blindsided. I kept my voice even. She told me her friends would always come first. I believed her. I left. That's it. Brooke shook her head like I was missing the point. It was one comment. People say things. You don't throw away 2 years over one sentence. Leia put a hand on Brooke's arm. Let him talk. He has a right to feel how he feels. Vanessa looked annoyed at Leia but turned back to me. "Adrian, nobody's saying you're not important, but these girls have been my support system forever. You can't expect me to just drop them because you feel insecure. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask you to drop anyone. I asked to be a priority if we were getting married. You told me no. That's the difference." For a second, nobody said anything. The air felt heavy, like everyone was waiting for someone else to go first. Scarlett's thumb traced the rim of her water glass. She didn't look at me. When she finally spoke, there was a small hitch before the first word. "Marriage is supposed to be a partnership. If you really wanted long-term with him, Vanessa, you should have been saying we more than me and my friends." "That's all he's saying." Vanessa laughed under her breath. "So what, we take a vote now, decide by committee whose side everyone's on?" Brooke snorted like that was a great idea. "Yeah, let's see who thinks he overreacted." Scarlett looked up then, voice sharper. "No, this isn't a game. You either want a future with someone or you don't. If you do, you make them part of your inner circle, not outside of it." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "Spare me the lecture." Leia shifted in her seat. "Vanessa, she's not wrong. Marriage changes things. You can't keep the same setup you had in college and expect it to work forever." Vanessa shot her a look. "Whose side are you on?" Leia sighed. "It's not about sides." I slid my wallet out, set a 20 on the table for my coffee, and stood. I said what I came to say. "I'm not angry. I just know this isn't for me." Vanessa started to protest, but I was already heading for the door. Nobody followed right away. Outside, the air felt colder than it had an hour ago. I was halfway to the parking lot when I heard footsteps. "Adrian, wait! Scarlett!" She jogged up, hands stuffed in her jacket pockets. "Sorry about in there," she said. "It got weird fast. Vanessa doesn't like being challenged." I shrugged. "It's fine. I wasn't expecting a warm send-off." We stood there a minute while cars rolled by on the street. Scarlett glanced back at the diner windows glowing behind us. "For what it's worth," she said, "I think you were right to leave if that's how she sees things. Marriage isn't just about fitting someone into your existing life. You build a new one together." I nodded. That's how I see it too. She looked like she wanted to say more but didn't, just offered a small, quick smile. Anyway, good luck with everything. Yeah, you too. She headed back inside. I crossed the lot, unlocked my truck, and drove home. The radio stayed off, streetlights stitched the lanes, and the phone stayed silent. I slept through the night for the first time in over a week. 2 weeks went by after that diner mess. My life was calmer than it had been in months. I kept my promises to myself, gym 3 mornings a week, no excuses. Bench went up 15 pounds, deadlift back to where it was last year before I got lazy. Work was steady too. I turned in 2 projects early. Carl dropped a hint the supervisor role might open faster than expected. Even my apartment felt different. Clean counters, tools back in the toolbox, bills paid on time. That's when Scarlett texted. Just one line, "Hey, how you holding up?" No emojis, no follow-up. I read it twice before replying, "I'm good. You?" She said she was fine, busy with work, then asked if I wanted to grab coffee one afternoon. Noon, not evening, clear, casual. I said sure. We met at a little spot near her office, bright place, smell of fresh bread, nothing romantic about it. She came in wearing a gray jacket and sneakers, hair pulled back like she'd been running errands. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "Hey." I set my coffee down. "Thanks for reaching out." She nodded. I felt like the diner thing ended weird. "Wanted to make sure you were doing all right." "I'm fine," I said. "Honestly, better than before." We talked about work for a bit, nothing deep. Then I said what I needed to say, "Scarlett, just so we're clear, if anything happens between us, it's 0 games. No triangles, no drama, full respect both ways." She didn't look surprised. "That's fair. I'm not doing the halfway thing anymore," I added. "Not after all that." Scarlett stirred her coffee. "Makes sense. And for what it's worth, I had a bit of a crush before, but I never acted on it out of respect. I wasn't looking to start anything behind anyone's back." I nodded. "Good to know." We left it there, no fanfare, just 2 people drinking coffee on a Tuesday. After that, we kept it slow, a couple of walks after work. One Saturday, we hit the hardware store, because I needed brackets for a shelf. She argued the plastic anchors were fine. I said metal was better. We went back and forth in the aisle until some older guy told us which one actually worked best. We laughed the whole way to the register. Another time we did a grocery run together. She tried to put off-brand spaghetti in the cart. I swapped it for the one I always buy. She said I was a pasta snob. I said she had low standards. People in the aisle looked at us like we'd been married for years. It was easy, no pressure. About 3 weeks in, she mentioned running into an old classmate from college, Ryan Caldwell. Consulting job, well off, the type who probably irons his t-shirts. He asked if I wanted to get dinner, she said one evening while we were walking near the park. I stopped to retie my shoe. "You going?" Scarlett shook her head. I told him I'd think about it. I looked at her. "Do what you want. I'm not begging. I know my value." She smiled a little. That was it. No jealous speech. "Nope. If you want him, go for it. I'm not chasing anyone." She didn't say anything right away, just nodded like she was filing that away. 2 days later, she texted saying she turned him down. No long explanation, just that she wasn't interested. That Friday night, she showed up to my rec league basketball game. I didn't even know she knew where the gym was. She sat on the bleachers with a water bottle, waved once when I looked over. After the game, she handed me the bottle like it was the most normal thing in the world. "You played decent," she said. "Decent? We won by 12. Yeah, but you missed 3 free throws." I laughed. Tough crowd. Later that night, we stopped by my place because I had a desk to assemble. Cheap thing I ordered online for my laptop. Came with instructions that barely made sense. Scarlett read the steps while I bolted the frame together. Took us an hour and a half because one drawer kept sliding off the track. We tried 3 times, adjusting screws, swapping rails, until it finally slid in smooth like it was supposed to. I sat back on the floor. There, perfect. Scarlett leaned against the wall, hair falling out of her ponytail, smiling like we just built a house instead of a $70 desk. "That was harder than it needed to be," she said. "Worth it, though." She looked at me for a second, then kissed me. Nothing cinematic, a simple kiss in a half-lit room with wood shavings on the floor and the smell of cardboard in the air. And that's how it started. It was a Wednesday when the front desk called my work phone. "Hey, Adrian, there's someone here to see you. She says she knows you personally." I walked out front and there was Vanessa standing near the chairs with a little gift bag in one hand and a folded letter in the other. She looked nervous, nothing like the confident woman who used to run every conversation. "Can we talk?" she asked. I didn't want a scene in front of coworkers, so I said sure, but 5 minutes out here. We sat on the lobby bench. She handed me the bag first. Inside was a couple of random things she knew I liked, some local jerky, a travel mug, nothing big. Then she gave me the letter. "I wrote everything down," she said, "but I also want to say it out loud. I didn't mean what I said that night the way it sounded. You took it wrong. My friends are important to me, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't have been too. I want to start over. I promise I can balance things better." She was talking fast, like she wanted to get it all out before I could interrupt. I set the bag on the floor. "Vanessa, I'm going to be clear. I'm not interested in starting over. I'm not mad, but this isn't something I want anymore, and I don't want you coming by work again. It's not the place for this. She stared at me like she thought I might soften up at the last second. I didn't. Okay, she said finally. I guess that's your choice. It is, I said, standing. I hope things go well for you, but this is done. She nodded, grabbed her bag, and walked out without looking back. The receptionist raised her eyebrows when I came back through. Old girlfriend? She asked quietly. Something like that, I said, and went straight to the shop floor. A few days later, someone sent me a screenshot from Vanessa's social media, a long post about people who give up instead of working through problems, and how friendships shouldn't threaten relationships if someone is secure in themselves. She didn't use my name, but it was obvious. I didn't respond, didn't like it, didn't comment, nothing. Brooke jumped in under the post with a bunch of defensive stuff about loyalty and real friends being there no matter what. Leia wrote something neutral about everyone seeing things differently. Scarlett didn't say a single word, and that silence said more to me than anything else. Later that week, Vanessa sent one more text directly to me. I don't know why you're being so cold. We had something real. I think you're making a mistake. I read it once, locked my phone, and never answered. The next weekend there was a birthday gathering for one of our mutual friends. Mid-afternoon thing at a park, burgers on the grill, kids running around. I showed up because the friend was someone I'd known long before Vanessa. She was there too, of course, came over when I was grabbing a soda from the cooler. Adrian, can we talk for just a second? I shook my head. I told you everything I needed to say already. It doesn't have to end like this, she said quickly. It already did, I said. I'm not your guy, Vanessa. Her mouth opened like she wanted to argue, but she didn't. She just walked off toward Brooke and Leia, who both gave me looks from across the grass. I spent the rest of the afternoon talking with some guys I hadn't seen in a while, watching a cornhole game, eating 2 burgers, and left before the cake got cut. No drama. Monday morning, I walked into work like normal. Around 10, Carl called me into his office. Adrian, the supervisor role is yours if you want it. You've been solid lately. Organized, reliable, good with the crew. You'd be running point on 2 big projects this fall. I told him yes before he finished talking. We shook hands and he said HR would handle the paperwork this week. When I left work that day, I didn't celebrate with a big group or post anything online. I just called my brother on the drive home, told him the news, and he said he was proud of me. That night, I ordered noodles from the place down the street, ate them on my couch while the game played on low volume, and felt like my life was finally moving in the right direction again. For the first time in a long time, nothing felt messy. About 3 weeks after the birthday party, Vanessa sent me a text in the middle of the day. I'm not trying to start anything. Can we meet for 20 minutes? I have something you should see. I stared at it for a bit, then replied, fine. Coffee shop near my office, outside table, keep it short. She agreed on the time, and that was that. The next afternoon I walked over on my break. It was a bright day, kind of windy, not many people sitting outside. Vanessa was already there at one of the metal tables, sunglasses on, phone in her hand. Adrian, she said as I sat down. Thanks for coming. 20 minutes, I said. What do you need to show me? She unlocked her phone, scrolled for a bit, then turned the screen toward me. These are from Scarlett, she said. Months before you proposed. I leaned in. The texts were between Scarlett and Vanessa. Scarlett, are you sure Adrian's ready for marriage? He still seems like he wants so much attention. Marriage is about compromise. Vanessa, what do you mean? Scarlett, I just think you should be clear about your priorities. If he really loves you, he'll understand that your friends matter too. There were more like that. Little comments about me being too young for commitment, about how some guys expect to be the center of your universe, about not letting anyone change who you are. Vanessa sat back. She planted all of it. Every doubt I had about you, that was her nudging me along. Then she swoops in when it falls apart. I didn't say anything, I just took out my phone and snapped a few pictures of the screen. Thanks for showing me, I said, standing up. We're done here. But Vanessa didn't let it go. She stood up too. You think I'm showing you this for no reason? She wanted you, Adrian, the whole time while pretending to be my friend. I didn't answer, just walked back to work. That night, Scarlett came over like usual. We made dinner. Grilled chicken, nothing fancy. While it was resting on the counter, I told her straight. Vanessa showed me some texts today from you, months before everything happened, about me not being ready for marriage, about her making sure I wasn't the center of her universe. Scarlett didn't try to dodge. Yeah. And about her making sure I wasn't the center of her universe. That part too. She set the tongs down. I said those things. I used to overanalyze other people's relationships. I've been working on that. Why? I asked. She leaned against the counter. Because I did it before in college with Ryan Caldwell. He got busy with his study group, I felt ignored, so I started pointing out little things about his friends, made him doubt them. He ended up cutting people off because of me. Then he dumped me when he figured it out, said I was controlling. He was right. I didn't say anything right away. She kept going. I'm not proud of it. I spent years trying not to be that person again. When you told me what Vanessa said that night, I didn't manipulate you into leaving her. But I can see how the things I told her before pushed her in that direction. That's on me. Before I could respond, there was a knock at my door. It was Vanessa. She didn't even look at me. Her eyes were on Scarlett. "So it's true," she said. "You're with him now." Scarlett didn't flinch. "We are. And it didn't start until after you two ended." Vanessa laughed sharp and bitter. "After you spent months telling me he wasn't ready. After you whispered that I should keep my friends first. You made sure I pushed him away, didn't you?" Scarlett shook her head. "No. I told you to be honest. What you said to him, that was all you. I didn't put those words in your mouth. You didn't have to," Vanessa snapped. "You just lined up the pieces so I'd say them." I stepped in. "Enough. Vanessa, you came here for what? To yell? It's over." She turned to me, eyes sharp. "You think she won't do the same to you? Just wait. One day you won't be enough and she'll start pushing buttons again." Scarlett's voice stayed calm. "I'm not that person anymore." Vanessa looked between us, like she wanted to keep fighting but didn't know what else to say. Finally, she shook her head and left without another word. I turned back to Scarlett. "She's wrong, right? About you setting things up." Scarlett met my eyes. "I didn't plan any of this. I gave her advice I thought was helpful at the time. But yeah, looking back, maybe I wanted you to see her for who she was. I can't lie about that." I nodded slowly. "Here's where I'm at. If you ever start turning knobs behind my back, shaping things so they break your way, I'm out. No second chances." She met my eyes. "Fair, but I need the same in reverse. If I ever start slipping into Vanessa's habit of taking you for granted, you can't just leave without saying anything. Call it out. Give me a chance to fix it." I thought about it, then said, "Deal." We sat down to eat after that and talked straight, two people being clear about where the lines were. After dinner, we opened our calendars and set some boring ground rules. Weekly check-ins if things feel off. No using silence as a weapon. If one of us says I feel small, it means stop and talk. No mocking or throwing it back later. It wasn't romantic, it was practical, but it felt right. Later, when the dishes were done, she hugged me in the kitchen. Nothing dramatic, just a long, steady hug like two people agreeing to actually try. No promises about forever, just promises about tomorrow. It started small. A line here, a picture there. Vanessa began posting long, vague updates on her page. Some people build relationships on lies. Just wait. Truth always wins. Or funny how snakes shed their skin when it benefits them. Never named me or Scarlett, but everyone knew who she meant. Mutual friends sent screenshots. I didn't comment. Didn't even like them. Scarlett didn't either. For the first week it was almost funny, then she doubled down. More posts, more dramatic quotes about betrayal and fake friends. A couple of people commented supportively at first, but it was always the same handful. Most people just scrolled past. Scarlett and I ignored all of it. We were busy. My supervisor role had started, so I was learning schedules, budgets, paperwork. Scarlett was prepping for a work presentation. We saw each other in the evenings, ate dinner, talked about normal stuff like paint colors and whether we should get a bigger coffee table. But the posts didn't stop. Brooke even shared one with a caption like "Some folks never show their real face until it's too late," clearly aimed at Scarlett. That one got attention because Brooke had always been loud online. Scarlett still didn't bite. "Let her get it out," she said one night while chopping vegetables. "People will get tired of it." She was right. A couple of weeks later, there was a party. Tyler had a new job and his girlfriend threw a big thing at their apartment. Music, food, people spread out across the living room and balcony. I planned to keep it quick, but wanted to congratulate him in person. Scarlett came with me. Vanessa was there too. Brooke and Leia stood near her. I nodded at Leia. She gave a small wave. Brooke stared. For the first hour, nothing happened. I talked with Tyler, grabbed a plate, caught up with some guys from the gym. Scarlett laughed with a group by the balcony, unbothered. Then Vanessa walked over, voice a little too loud. "So you two are just playing happy couple now, like none of this was shady." Scarlett set her drink down. "Vanessa, this isn't the place." "It is," Vanessa said. "You acted like my friend while lining him up the second you could." "We didn't get together until after we ended," I said, keeping my voice even. Vanessa laughed sharp. "Because you made sure I ended it. All those little comments about him not being ready, about keeping my friends first. You wanted him the whole time." "I told you to be honest about what you wanted," Scarlett said, still calm. "You chose to tell him he'd never be a priority. That was your call." Leia stepped forward. "Vanessa, enough. You've been posting about this for weeks. They haven't said a word about you, not once." Vanessa spun. "So you're on their side now?" "I'm on the side of being done with this," Leia said. A couple of people nearby nodded. Someone by the food table added, "It feels one-sided." Vanessa looked to Brooke for backup. Brooke shifted but didn't say anything. Scarlett picked up her drink. "We're not doing this here." She looked at me. "Ready?" "Yeah." We said congrats to Tyler and left. Behind us, the room didn't follow, it just moved on. Vanessa stood there and people looked away. The next day, Leia texted me. "For what it's worth, I'm glad you two stayed out of the drama. Last night kind of ended it." I sent back a thumbs up, didn't need to say more. After that, Vanessa stopped posting. Brooke too. Mutual friends said Vanessa was embarrassed about the party, about how it all played out. I didn't celebrate it, didn't talk about it. It was just finally quiet. Scarlett and I started planning more practical stuff. We talked about moving in together but decided to do it slowly. She spent 3 or 4 nights a week at my place so we could figure out routines first. Chores, bills, who cooked when. One Saturday we were at the hardware store picking out wall anchors for a shelf she wanted to put up. We compared prices, debated sizes, then asked a clerk. She pointed at toggle bolts like it wasn't even a question. Back home I drilled holes while she held the level. We hung the shelf straight on the first try. Scarlett stepped back, wiped dust off her hands, and smiled. "Not bad, supervisor," she said. I looked at the shelf solid against the wall. Not bad at all. Life felt steady after that. No vague posts, no drama waiting around the corner. Just work, dinners, and figuring out how to build something real without all the noise. I wasn't interested in winning arguments or proving points anymore. I just wanted plans that stuck, words that meant something, and a partner who chose me first without me having to ask. Scarlett did, and that was enough.